Okay, I got up this morning and I was expecting the north of Ireland to be on fire. I was expecting to see absolute mayhem, and going by social media, it wasn't too bad. I think a bus was set on fire. I saw that last night, but I didn't see much else apart from that. Now, maybe as the day progresses, we'll get more footage. But people were saying, everyone should remain calm, let the police do their job, etc. Well, the question on everyone's lips is, where were the police when this Sudanese guy was trying to saw off a man's head on the street? Where were the police? It took citizens, ordinary citizens, to stop the Sudanese guy from decapitating someone. And the weapon used by one of the citizens, a hurley, was deeply symbolic. That is an old Celtic sport. And as sports go, as field sports go, I think hurling is number one. It is a beautiful, beautiful sport to watch. And it is so skillful and so fast. It is a joy to watch. But the symbolism there that a man used a hurley stick to stop a guy from a different continent from sawing off an Irish man's head on an Irish street is incredible. That that was what was used. But again, where were the police? Because there is this idea in liberal people's minds that we can bring these people in, we can bring millions of them in. It doesn't matter if they have quote unquote mental health problems. A nice way of saying if they're totally fucking bonkers, if they're retarded to the hilt, they have mental health problems. They just need nurture and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's there are a lot of question marks. And when I watched the footage of this attack after I had made the video yesterday, and the Irish media is still reporting it mostly as stabbing. Protests in Northern Ireland over stabbing. People angry over stabbing. And when you read a news article and it talks about a stabbing, you just have this image in your head of some sort of altercation and someone taking out a knife and stabbing someone. But no pun intended, these headlines don't cut what happened in Belfast the night before last. This is a big, big problem that's getting worse and worse and worse by the week. And I heard people saying that, all the years of the troubles in the northeast of Ireland, you had the two communities going at each other, and you didn't hear, and there was a lot of violence, kneecapping, executions, but you didn't hear of people being, getting their eyes gouged out, or someone attempting to gouge out their eyes on the streets, or someone attempting to behead someone on the streets. I never heard about it. As bad as things got, I never heard about that. So we're becoming aware of a whole new, what the Jewish media and the Jewish universities would call, we're learning about a new culture here. We're learning about a new culture. And all cultures are equal. I don't think so. I don't think all cultures are equal. And when I watched that video, I couldn't help but think that this Sudanese guy seemed to know what he was doing. He seemed like a seasoned beheader. What was stopping him from carrying out, apart from the guy hitting him with the hurley, what was stopping him from carrying out his beheading was that he was using, they say, a Stanley knife. So that would have been a slow, grueling, and painful process for the victim. But had he had a sharper knife, some sort of, I don't know, maybe machetes are good for cutting off people's heads. I really don't know. I haven't looked into this. But had he had a better weapon, he could have done it very quickly. And had he been in his own country, maybe he would have been able to do it a lot faster. But he seemed, to all intents and purposes, to be a seasoned beheader. He looked like he had done this before, and it seemed like second nature to him. And then you've got to ask the question, or questions, how did he end up in Belfast, all the way from Sudan? Who supported him? Who signed off on this guy? What branch of the Judeo-Christian religion was helping this guy out? And how many of them are amongst us? Walking around, they're wearing clothes, they're going into the dole office, they're going into hotels, and they're seasoned beheaders. It's possible many of them have tasted human flesh on more than one occasion. But we're not supposed to ask those questions. We're supposed to keep our mouths shut because, we don't want the police coming to our door over, because, they will come to your door over asking questions, such as, where were the police? That that could really rile up the police. You're asking, where were the police? Um. Anyway, yeah, there's more I could say, but oh yeah, Keir Starmer. I heard people saying that Keir Starmer, his message is always, we will not tolerate such acts of violence. Well, people say he must be the most tolerant man in the world, because every few weeks he's coming out saying we will not tolerate such violence, and more violence ensues, and more violence ensues, and every time he says, we're not going to tolerate this. But you know what, guys? He seems to be tolerating it quite well. Right. Let me know what you think.